We have so many pupils who are non-verbal, but still have so much to say.
I want the exact same information that my hearing friends have.
There are barriers to communication everywhere, but I think it's time we look at the barriers as opportunities to reach out to everyone.
Soundscape fills in a lot of the mental map as you move.
Approaching intersection.
You can just put it in your pocket and go.
With ALS, you become locked in. But we see technology as a way to give back what ALS has taken away.
There's no better feeling than to hear a child say something that they've wanted to say and the look on their face after they've been able to say it.
When it's reading, I see spaces between the words.
And it's easy to focus on.
Anjay realized that here was something that could change his life.
Now that I have my phone, I can see exactly what was said, and that's been a huge help to me.
The system is learning as it goes, and the accuracy has improved tremendously.
Students can pick any language that they choose to receive the information. It's like we jumped into the future.
Because communication is very important for all of us, and we just want to be together and not feel left out.
Aider les personnes avec autisme à communiquer, il y a des images.
Je parle, je donne une information à Arthur et elle est traduite par l'application El Picto instantanément en pictogramme et après d'une façon orale.
Va t'habiller et te brosser les dents.
On va pouvoir remettre en place une communication qui est plus spontanée. Je crois que ça aide à recréer du lien.
Both my wife and I are totally blind, and we have a 3-year-old son that's in preschool. He can see, but his parents can't. So to be able to know what's going on at his school is everything. The Seeing AI app has the ability to allow me access to the visual world. Artificial intelligence is beginning to have an impact on the lives of people with disabilities, but it's only going to grow. There is still so much out there to be done.
That's my presentation. Yes, and Yasmin, she knows I became Canadian 3 months ago, and yes, and ever since I say I am sorry more often. So you're gonna hear a lot of I am sorry. Why this conversation around accessibility is so important for Microsoft? Because we believe this is a solvable design challenge that drives innovation. Think about it. It's a solvable design challenge that drives innovation. Stairs make the building accessible, not the wheelchair. Stairs make the building accessible, not the wheelchair. And I learned another word in English, MacGyver, right? MacGyver it's sometimes what people call accommodation. It's what you need to build after the fact because the environment was not designed to welcome someone with a specific need. And when I was presenting this content to Color Control, she also mentioned this, we should avoid the word accommodation and instead we should say adaptation, how we adapt the environment instead of accommodate, right? And the World Health Organization, the definition for persons with disabilities, disability is not a personal health condition, it's a mismatched human interaction. In other words, environments and tools are disabled, not people. Environments and tools are disabled, not people. And another interesting point for me is every time I bring this topic, and sometimes in the business world, people think that persons with disabilities is a niche market. I think it's a mindset that came from Industry Revolution, where manufacturers, industry, they were designing for the average, even in the education segment, designing for the normal, and normal doesn't exist, just to make it clear. But if you are not fitting the average, you are a niche. And now we move to the digital area. In the digital era, we have another mindset. If you design for the extreme, you design for everyone. And if you make it work from an industry revolution and digital world, what is going to last is the human piece. So if you don't understand human, you will not understand business. So that's what we try to bring. But back to the, I'm so sorry, I get so excited when I talk about this topic and I go to different lines. But there are over 1 billion people with disabilities, more precisely 1.3 billion. In Canada, 6.2 million people. Unemployment rate is 2 times higher compared to persons without disabilities. And the ones employed are usually underemployed. As we discussed this morning, 70% of disabilities are invisible, 70% of them. And that's a very important topic. And if business leaders in education, we don't think about this population, it's almost 1 in 5 people to say, thank you so much, I don't want to do business with you. And at Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. To achieve this goal, we need to make sure we design solutions that includes everyone. And we apply the inclusive design principle. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but it's really simple. And by the way, we share this resource for free, aka.ms/inclusive design. We're going to make sure to share with everyone from the Canadian Accessibility Network. 3 simple principles. The first one is recognize exclusion. We all, as human, we tend to address and solve problems based on our unconscious bias. And once you understand who is excluded, try to make it work. From this process, you learn from diversity, which is the second principle of inclusive design. And you're going to learn amazing things. From this point, you're going to make it work for the one who was excluded. And guess what? If you make it work, it's going to work for everyone, which is the third principle. Solve for one, extend to many. And in our case, in the technology world, I always invite people to see persons with disabilities as a source of inspiration. Because if you design for someone without an arm, it's going to work for someone who broke an arm or someone holding a double-double Tim Hortons with another laptop in their hand, and they are just happy that the door is automatic. It's going to work for everyone. So if you think from marketing or a design, if you are creating solutions, and the name we use is user experience. If you want to delight users, if you want to delight customers, is create solutions that work for someone with permanent disabilities. Solutions like live captions. It works for someone hard of hearing, as well for someone who speaks English as a second language or any other language, or someone in a noisy environment, airport as an example. It works for everyone. If you are a marketer, if you create live captions, your content will be searchable. You're going to get relevance in organic. The same if you do alt text for pictures. Doing accessibility is a business imperative. It's also important from the business side. And a good thing that I feel working in this space is you not only design solutions that you drive business outcome, but you also drive social impact. You can go to any stakeholder and say, show me the money, but show me the meaning, right? And I know sometimes this is a community that we all know, or most of us know what we're talking about inclusion, inclusion for persons with disabilities, but I like to frame this conversation from exclusion. Exclusion is the opposite of inclusion, and sometimes it's easier for us to understand. I'm going to bring 2 examples from the industry. This is, most of you probably heard about one of these stories. The other one, I think it's going to be new. 2011 in US, there was an investigation to understand why women were suffering more injuries and death in car crash accidents. 2011. And the investigation, they discovered something just incredible. The dummies for car crash testing in the automobile industry, 2011, the only dummies for car crash tests were dummies like me, male dummies. They didn't have dummies with a female shape. So just imagine, 2011, people that were designing solutions to avoid or help people in case of a crash or a car accident, the dummies for car crash were only male. I guess something was missing there, right? So probably they didn't have an engineer putting a perspective, bringing a point of view. And I know that you are kind of think now, okay, my car is 2012, I'm fine. But just think about it. It's 8 years ago, a mistake around gender and the importance of not just seeing this conversation only from a perspective of persons with disabilities, but this conversation can go across First Nation, can be LGBT, can be any other minority that you should welcome in this process. The second example is an example that I'm experiencing quite often. In every building I go, I try to experience this. Probably you went to a very new building, and most new buildings, they have an elevator system with a touch screen. So you go to the touch screen, you press the floor you want to go, and the system will tell you, go to elevator B. But if you are blind or with sight loss, you may not experience the solution in the same way. Some places, they created the Braille button. So if you are not lucky to go to a very 90th floor or 100th floor and you need to press 100 times, but the key point is, once you reach the floor you want to go, the system will tell you, go to elevator B. I'm going to ask you, where is elevator B? Someone just forgot to say on your right, on your left, behind you. This is unconscious bias in coding. And if you apply artificial intelligence, machine learning, you can teach systems to exclude people. You can teach systems to exclude at scale. That's a very important topic we have in our industry today around unconscious bias and how you design solutions that are inclusive. It's imperative that we have this conversation. Technology, like many other examples, can be a tool or a weapon, depending how you design. The problem is when you design without even knowing that we are hurting someone, right? I heard this quote and I love it. When we don't intentionally include, we unintentionally exclude. When we don't intentionally include, we unintentionally exclude. Just triple check, are you following my accent? So far so good? Good, because I'm in the middle of my presentation, sometimes people, what did you say? And also, accessibility is a journey, and that's something we are experiencing and learning at Microsoft. I'm going to bring an example from gaming industry, the Xbox Adaptive Controller. 2012, we invited 10 top gamers worldwide for a conference. And one of the gamers asked if he could come with his mom. He said, I need special accommodation at that time. When he showed up at the event, we saw that he was using a wheelchair. And he said, yeah, you could not know that I use a wheelchair because I don't have an option of creating my Xbox Online avatar with a wheelchair. We made a mistake, but we fixed it, okay? That was the first one. So we didn't have options for wheelchair, prosthetic leg, prosthetic arm. Now we have. That's what I'm saying. It's a journey, right? The second, inside, we could see that he had some mobility impairment with his left arm. And we asked how you play. He said, I grab the joystick with my right hand and I bring it close to my neck, and that's how I play. I use my right arm and part of my face to play. And we clearly realized that Xbox was not designed for him. But the most interesting thing we heard was, what I love about Xbox is it's so hard for me to go outside because the world is not accessible. But when I play online, I connect with many people, and people connect with me. And they connect because of my abilities. They don't even know that I have a disabilities. I just would love to see this world that I experience online playing reflected in my real world. We got so much perspective, not just from this player, but from many other players with disabilities. And then we designed the Xbox Adaptive Controller, which is a console that you can connect many different types of assistive technology and let gamers with mobility impairment to play. And then the innovation piece. We created the product, we were so happy, and we asked ourselves, how are we going to pack? And how people are going to unpack the product when they buy? It's designed for this population. So then we started to do research, and I know, Yasmin, we went to Seattle in the Inclusive Design Lab. So the approach there, we said, we're going to do an unpack that you cannot use your teeth, because most people with mobility impairment, they use their teeth a lot for opening buttons and everything. So we ended up with the design that I'm showing now, but I'm gonna describe. It's a design that you just need to pull one, how do I call? Thank you so much. And once you do this, the box will unpack by itself. The interesting and the learning that we got through this process, we saw many people without disability saying, I want this. And it works for everyone. If you want an example from paper, this is paper. A universal design applied to paper that it's now changing the way we are packing products, and we hope to see more people in the industry approaching. This was so good that we decided to make a Super Bowl ad, and I don't know if you know, Super Bowl ad is really expensive. Really expensive, but I think we made the point. I'm gonna play the ad.
My name is Grover. Sean. My name is Ian. I'm Taylor. My name is Owen, and I am 9.5 years old.
So Owen was born with a rare genetic disorder called Escobar syndrome.
He's had 33 surgeries to date.
I love video games, my friends, my family, and again video games.
It's his way of interacting with his friends when he can't physically otherwise do it.
What I like about the adaptive controller is now everyone can play. You can just say, alright, that's that button, that's that button, that's that button. Perfect.
One of the biggest fears early on is, how will Owen be viewed by the other kids? He's not different when he plays.
No matter how your body is or how fast you are, you can play. It's a really good thing to have in this world.
When everybody plays, we all win. And we have a word we use internally at Microsoft: proximity powers empathy. Proximity powers empathy. I think this is another word that I love. Nothing about us without us. But as soon as you are closer, more you learn. You increase compassion, empathy, and this is so important. And we've been doing lots of improvements in our platform. We have our solution more than almost 2 billion customers worldwide, and they are always recommending ways for us to improve our products. And we try to bring this to everyone. Like the good example, when you do spelling and grammar, we were just replacing words, but we heard from the blind community saying, please don't, highlight and let me choose the word I want to replace. And if possible, let me use the read aloud. We did it. And now we hear from teachers saying, this is really cool. I can teach my kids and help them to increase their vocabulary. Foreign language speakers, they can also compose emails and increase their vocabulary too. Another example, really hard to find new commands, and we are great launching new functionalities that sometimes it's hidden, we can't find. So we create a solution called Tell Me. You type what you're looking for, you can quickly find. This was a request from the blind community. Everybody's using now. Learning Tools is a technology designed by Microsoft Vancouver. It's now being used by 70 million people worldwide. It's a technology that helps and empowers adults and children with reading and learning disabilities. You have an immersive reader experience, and then you can interact with the content, playing with images. You can ask the system to highlight verbs, adjectives. It's really cool. And just to give you an example of how this solution is working, I'm going to show how schools that implement this technology, which is free, is taking the advantage of Learning Tools.
The true purpose of education is to create possibility.
It was a little hard for me. People laugh whenever I read sometimes. Well, they knew how to read, and I didn't.
I will never be good at reading. I will probably be held back again.
It highlights the words to know where I am. When it's reading, I see spaces between the words,
and it's easy to focus on.
The first time I actually could read that book, I was proud of myself. I was very proud of myself.
Good job, Joey.
Woo, woo.
When technology and education come together, possibility becomes reality.
I want to read every book in here.
I could spend the entire day here showing every single functionality, every single feature, the journey that we are in. We are super proud of the progress. I hope to leave just one message, is the word humble. What I want to say about that is a journey, and it still have so much work to do. We have the good things and the positive things, which I'm showing here, but I tell you, we have some other issues and things that we are working to address internally. We have the commitment from our CEO and all the leaders to make it happen. We are one of the few organizations with a dedicated structure for accessibility. And we truly believe that this is an engine of innovation. And we are trying to approach this by engaging with the community and education, not-for-profit, public sector, to bring this topic to life and hopefully reduce unemployment for persons with disabilities. On behalf of Microsoft Canada, and my colleagues, I'd like to thank Carleton University and the community. It was a pleasure to speak today, and I look forward to connecting and talking to all of you today. Thank you.